So what's been going on? How's the week been?
The week was good. Kind of overall, it was good. The event with the engineers went really well, and high marks there. So it was great to see that start to come together. Definitely know this is something I want to put into my business, is the experiential stuff. But I'm not like so excited. I mean, I'm excited about it, but I was like, I'm not going to distract right now. I mean, I know it's there. You know, as other things get off the ground and out of the way, then that'll be. It's when I look at the list, it's about number 12 or 13 on the list of stuff to get done. So, but definitely it was really well, went really well, and I believe I'll get at least another opportunity with them, maybe more. So yeah, that was really good. We had beautiful weather and everything worked exactly as planned. So and it taught me a lot about dancing in the moment. You know, speaking of workshops, there was some definite challenges that showed up that were not expected. Well, kind of expected, but not expected. I knew one of the participants was going to be in a surgical boot, so I knew the hiking piece of it was going to get a little bit limited, and I was able to get the university to open the gate to get us up to the main area via car. But then we got up there, and even the guy that was in the surgical boot, he couldn't walk more than like 50 feet. So I definitely had to like re-engineer everything I had planned in the moment. But it worked out perfectly. You know, it's interesting how we see these things and like, okay, well, we're just gonna have to adjust. There isn't any getting around this. So yeah, so that was good. I look forward to seeing where we can take this, especially now. The irony was when we were walking out of the winery after the wine experience piece of it, there was a gal that came up to me as I walked into the main tasting room. She said, "Hi, my name is such and so. I'm the sales and marketing director at this hotel, and we'd love to work with you guys." I'm like, "I'm not really the leader. Here's the guy you should talk to." I said, "I'm just the guy who created this experience for the team building." She goes, "Oh, that's great to know. I need some people like that because I get asked questions. So I'm going to go meet with her later this week." So yeah, who knows?
That's awesome.
Good, well done. That's awesome. That's awesome. Really good. What's the challenge been?
I guess the challenge. Well, I got frustrated with Goodman. I'm still frustrated with Goodman Project because I turned an article in last week and it didn't get published.
Oh. And
I'm not getting any response back from my editors. So I don't know. I got to try to see if I can find somebody else to contact because it's like, I'm not going to spend my time writing these articles if they're not going to get up and get published. So yeah, I'm kind of I guess that's a challenge right now because that was kind of a good gig, and you know, maybe she's sick. I don't know. Maybe she got let go. I don't know. But there's got to be another way to, you know, have this stuff communicated. So that would be the biggest challenge right now. Is I don't want to wait. I don't want to spend my time, you know, because it's time to, you know, put another article together, which I know isn't wasting time. I can use the article somewhere, but yeah, I don't know, it's just odd. So, but I'm trying not to read much into things this year. That's kind of one of my goals, is not create the stories. So we'll just see. But if I was going to say frustration, that's definitely a frustration right now. And time. And definitely like got so much on the plate right now that just sorting what makes the most sense to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's it.
Well, good week all in all, and even though it's a bit challenging with Goodman Project, it's nice that you've got to challenge that new mentality a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good. Well played, dude. Raf just joined us. I'll bring you up to speed, sir. How are we doing, Raf? All right?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're pretty solid, thank you. Pretty solid.
Good.
Pretty good.
Hey, Rick, Andrea.
How's it going, bud?
I'm heading into my first day of work at 11 in the morning. You know, I got it good like that.
Yeah, at least you're open. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm going in just to say hi. I'm going to officially apply for paternity leave and then leave. So that's why I can roll in at 11 in the morning.
Nice.
All right.
I like it. Well, Andrea, I'm going to come to you. Win challenge. What's been going down? How's the week been?
Week's been good. I've been doing a lot. I keep thinking I'm not doing so much until I get to this call. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I did a lot. So I did my first ukulele lesson, which was very exciting and fun.
Nice. Well done.
Trying to challenge my brain in that way. I have the skeleton for the workshop. Now I'm going back to fill in the finer points. I got permission at the school to get family involvement. So I've got some families signed up to participate in an experience this week. And let's see. I'm also doing the heroic public speaking course at the same time. So I'm hoping that will really help, because that experience will be done in the beginning of March, and my thing is March 15th. So I'm really hoping that I can get the maximum amount out of that experience and leverage it for the workshop. And I also, I don't know if I told you guys, I had a brain debrief. I had a brain scan done. This psychiatrist I follow, I've followed him for like 15, 16 years. He's the only psychiatrist in the world that actually looks at the brain to treat mental health challenges or any challenges of the brain. And I got some kind of ad that came up on my computer saying, come see him for free in Reston, Virginia. And I went and saw him, sat in the second row, and he gave therapists an opportunity to get a brain scan. And I just had my debrief of that. And it's fascinating because all of my Lyme damage is still, like, my brain is amazing for what it's been through, but there are certain parts still that are residual from the Lyme. So it's fascinating. And they gave me copies of the scans, and
Andrea, is that something that they do to the general public? Like that would be interesting to do from a vet PTSD type angle.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. He actually does work at Walter Reed as well. But you can go to the clinic in Reston, Virginia and get it done. And it's very powerful data. They're happy with what I've been able to rehab, how I've been able to rehab my brain through this experience, but I still have a little residual work to do. So, and my challenge is just still the workshop, assessing the tech, because we're going to do some video piece at the school with some of these families. It's not going to be huge, but I have a MacBook Air, and I found out that, and maybe you guys know different, but this is what I've assessed so far, that I can't get the current version of iMovie on my MacBook Air. I would need an iPad. And so I'm trying to work through the tech pieces of the workshop and just bringing the whole thing together. So that's my challenge.
Okay.
And my other big challenge is when I'm there, I have to be able to capture video myself. Like, my collaborators are not traveling with me there. So I'm going to be, in essence, doing this workshop alone. And I have to capture video somehow of me speaking there. So that's my challenge.
Okay. We can talk about that in a sec then, because I know, Rick, we've done that in the past. You did it at PMX, didn't you, last year as well, which is good. So we can talk about that in a sec. So we'll bring that up as a first talking point, Andrew, and then we'll dig into some of the more workshopy stuff as well while we're at it. So kind of just keep that as a next thing to chat about, if you don't mind, please. Raf, over to you, man. Give us a quick rundown of the week, the wins and the challenges.
Yeah, so I sent Mark a message about, was it Friday? I think it was Friday, and I told him I've done a whole lot above nothing. So basically there's nothing, and then there's that little tiny notch above that. I think that's what I achieved in the last week. And after I sent that message, I was pondering a lot just on what has got me sort of stuck again. And believe it or not, there's this thing called money, right? Or the lack of, or the thought of the lack of. So the win is that I've been able to recalibrate the brain into thinking, from bad thinking, poor people thinking, I would say, right? It's a systemic thing, I think, that is taught, and, from Mark's hot dog story to the TEDx talk, right? It's something that's instilled in us very, very, very early on, and that we carry into these situations of stress, right? So all of a sudden I'm furloughed, I'm missing my paycheck, was about to go into a third paycheck, and I just shared with this group, those two paychecks were roughly about, $10K. So I'm focusing on this loss of money and the potential of no money going, but yet I had to reset myself and say, hey, listen, my pantry is full, my refrigerator's stocked, and the bills are paying, the mortgage is paid. Like, how is this kind of happening? But I'm still focused on this other thing in the mud, right? This bad thinking, these gremlins, saboteurs. And so as I kept processing over the weekend, I think, and I just sent Mark a message this morning, that my major win is that I know that I've created my first evergreen piece, and it's this leaving to living thing, right? So we were talking about the idea of leaving to living, and it was a statement that we would say. But as I went back, before I left the service, I enacted sort of these safety net components of kind of having a little bit of money like a squirrel stashed here, and then a safety pot over here, and then like all these little things. Well, what I did is I kind of collected that aggregate, and I shared with Mark, and I'll share with the group, trusted agents, that I actually had $23,000 squirreled away in this capacity. But yet going into this, I felt so unprepared, and that I just don't have my stuff in order and all this. So the evergreen piece, the win here is that it's this idea of leaving to living, and it's applied across all situations across the board in daily life, right? Before I was kind of thinking of it like leaving to living, like you left the military or preparing to leave the military, but it's just one period in someone in the served community's life that can, use this technique. But I'm excited because it's sort of like I'm developing this idea of leaving to living as a way of life for people that hit these unpredictable roadblocks, right? It could be used maybe in a situation of mourning. And so my pup of 17 years ago, I put her to sleep 3 weeks ago, and the ground finally just thawed out that I was able to bury her yesterday. So the family, we had like a little funeral and the whole bit. But as I was thinking about it, I was like, man, this leaving to living could even apply in that situation. And anyway, so I'm over here hacking away at this idea. And so I'm starting to write my first piece, and it's basically titled, it's going to be on the blog, because before I never was going to have a blog, but now I'm going to have a blog. And it's titled basically, I survived the longest government shutdown in history, and I did it with this thing called leaving to living. Like, that's the title of this blog. And so it really gets that out there. It really solidifies into the mission of what Served is as a whole. It's the stickers, but it's this other thing. Anyway, so I'm really excited about that. Anyways, and then just the challenge is just sort of, getting above just the ideas and the execution of it, and getting above that, I haven't done nothing, Mark. But as you think back and you say, all right, well, I feel like I've done nothing, I really have been doing a lot of things, and it's sort of the evolution of me. And I'm really excited about that. So, and I was sharing with Mark earlier today, I'm not sure if you read the message or not, but, John Lee Dumas always says, and I know he got this quote from someone else, but you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. And I believe this is why I like this group so much. And the group that I have, it's about 10 people that I surround myself at least once a week. And I feel like I'm rising to that, and things that I didn't think that I was going to do in the past, I'm now very confident in doing, and being the authority in that is becoming sort of my thing, and I like it. Yeah.
Good job. You know what I love that you said is that you're leaning into the evolution of you. That's what this is.
And that's kind of the thing, is where I have not made that mark like Carm or Rick, where, or even Mark, Carm, Mark, and Rick, where they're making money, but it's sort of this thing where I've thought about the last 2 years, and if I wouldn't have invested in myself in this crazy idea called the podcast and joined this group, the evolution of me would not be reaching here today. So yeah, I feel that I've only gone above nothing, like a little notch above nothing, but I really haven't, and it's really, really neat. But the challenge is, all right, that's great and all. Now let's get to actually something.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But I'm working, hacking my way. I said we started earlier in a couple sessions ago, and I'm like, all right, let's reorient. Oh, so here's another great thing. So I'll just share with you guys. Again, it's the whole leaving to living thing. I've come up with this thing called the 3 R's, and it's actually the 3 R's plus 4, which is 7 R's. But I'll share with you guys. And it was something I was teaching my kids, but I was teaching my kids because it was something that was helping me when I was going through the evolution of me. And the first one is to recognize the situation that I'm in, and then I reorganize myself or reprioritize myself, and just sort of recalculate. And then the last R, the 3, is so it's recognize, recalculate, and restart. And basically, I'm not sure. Maybe that's some book somewhere. I don't know, but that's kind of tied into this whole leaving to living thing of recognizing, hey, I'm here in this funk. How do I restart? And I did. And then, or I reorganized, recalculated, and then I restarted. And now I have this evergreen content, because I always stressed about that. What's my evergreen content? 2 stickers, you would always stress about these things. And it just naturally came. And because it naturally came organically, as they would say, and this is some solid evergreen content. At least I think so. I'm excited.
Good, man. It's good work. Now, the next thing, get it done.
Get it done.
You're like the world's best idea guy, but you execute terribly. So get this thing done, all right?
Yes. Thank you for the love, Mark. But that's why I need you, because you kicked me in the arse.
Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. So evergreen content, Andrea, is that content that drives traffic all the time. Like, it doesn't really date, and it kind of continues to build traffic and so on. And you can keep adding to that, and you can keep expanding it and expanding it and expanding it. And it just grows and grows and grows. That's what it's called, evergreen. It's kind of, it never goes out of fashion.
It weathers all seasons, but it's basically a foundation that you have on what you're doing. And so, because it weighs so heavily as a foundation, I was always stressing, what is it? What am I going to do? What am I going to be? And oops, here it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, good work, man. No, it's good to get that realization, especially in the midst of a potentially troublesome time with the shutdown and being on furlough and everything that's going on with it. So that's a nice place to be, man. Well done. Well,
I realized, going back to that, that I don't want to be in that situation. So the motivation, where before the passion project, I don't really need this to make money for me, is now the perspective into execution is there, where I was like, you know what? I don't ever want to be dependent on anything like that. And it really brought me back full circle to the hot dog story of you standing there, not having 2 pence for that hot dog. And I just said, I don't want this. It was a very stark reality when because I actually went through the whole unemployment process. And I said, they don't care that I'm a federal scientist. They don't care that I have years of education. I'm right next to the guy that has no education and that is really rubbing 2 pennies together to make ends meet. And I'm just kind of like, we're in the same boat. We're unemployed, not getting money. But when you rise above it and say, well, but I've done things differently. And anyways, it was just this whole last 3 weeks, I think, has kind of been meant for a purpose in the sense for me of adding to that transition component of military members, being in the sort of the steady state, and all of a sudden going into this transition period. So
that's good,
very fruitful. Yeah, very fruitful.
Good. So, like I said, I want to just make sure that we actually execute on that. So that's going to be the focus now for the next few weeks. So, cool.
That's your job, Mark. That's your job. Get me to execute.
Exactly. Might be the most difficult job I've got.
Probably.
So, Andrea, I want to come back to your stuff then. We'll spend a bit of time. Raf, what we're going to do today is spend a bit of time on helping Andrea with the workshop that you're putting together, Andrea. First question, Andrea's just sent me a quick message actually about suggestions for an online survey tool, anything except SurveyMonkey. I don't know what you guys have used, but I've used obviously SurveyMonkey before. I've used things like Typeform, Type form, Typeform, which is a good one. You can also use Google Forms. I'm not a fan of that because I think it looks.
I was gonna say, Andrea, please don't use Google Forms. Oh my gosh, that's like
Typeform's nice.
And the only reason I say it, I believe, and this is just a rap thing, that I've seen some really, really like nice brands. They take a lot of time in really developing this brand, and then you finally get me to do a survey, and it takes me to Google Forms, and I'm like, really? Like, you spend all your money on everything else, and then you turn that money on and you just Google Forms, and there's nothing wrong with it. It captures the information. It's just a perception thing. I don't know. It's like kind of like, you know, getting a Louis Vuitton bag and then you get it in a plastic shopping bag, right? It's like, huh? That's just rad.
I agree with that, and I'm sure Rick shares the same thoughts on that. If I was going to do a survey, honestly, I'd build it on my own website using the forms like that you've got on your podcast website, but I'd use Typeform, to be honest, Andrea, and get that set up, typeform.com. So you mentioned as well, can you share my screen to assess memory on the MacBook Air? I assume, is that, Andrea, just to make sure it can run the video stuff? Yeah, cool. Yeah, go for it then. Show us the screen. I'm sure we've all done video bits on our machines. And this is actually using a MacBook Air as I'm speaking.
Yeah, I'm using a MacBook Air.
So and you sometimes struggle with video, don't you? Yeah.
Me?
No, is it?
Here's my storage. Can you see that?
The storage will be fine. The storage.
Wait, it's calculating. It says, but can you see on the left? It says flash storage. It says
Don't worry about that. That's just your hard drive, that, Andrea. So you've got plenty available there. You've got like
go back to the first one so we can see the RAM, because you might be having a RAM issue.
I think the RAM's probably all right. I reckon it's it'll be the clock speed on it, I bet. If you go to the overview, Andrea.
Okay, hold on.
So you got 4 gig of RAM.
4 gig, yep.
And
I bet you. Well, the thing with the MacBook Airs, they're soldered on, so you can't upgrade it. So when you first bought it, you had to kind of basically invest in the maximum that you could get. And I bet you that's your limiting factor, is that 4 gig of RAM. And the reason I know is I have one that's causing me a lot of issues with today's. It was great 2 years ago. It was great when I first bought it, but today's programs require a little more than 4 gigs. So all you have to do is just manage your program usage.
You'll be able to use most things in all right, Andrew. Now, so the point of assessing this, what are you worried about using on the MacBook? What are you concerned about?
So I need to be able to, and this is what I'm trying to assess. Do I get an iPad to supplement myself, because it will have iMovie and I will be able to run video that I'm trying to put together?
Are you wanting to edit video? Are you wanting to just play video?
No, it'll be editing some video, and it will be like, I'll have Marge, right? I'm going to interview her in Zoom on Friday. She's going to be one of the launching parts of the beginning of the workshop. And I need to save that from Zoom, put it in iMovie, and incorporate it into the regular video.
I would, sorry to jump in there, I would suggest that you use ScreenFlow for that. And Rick, I don't know what your preference is for editing your videos, but ScreenFlow's got the shortest learning curve, and it seems to be the most powerful with balanced up against that learning curve. And again, like I said, Rick, I don't know if you use anything different.
Mark, what about QuickTime, since she's already got a native to the Apple platform?
It's just too much. It'd be too much work. You're best off just using something simple like ScreenFlow.
ScreenFlow? Okay.
Yeah, does it all for you.
What is ScreenFlow?
Just a video editing tool. So if you Google ScreenFlow, it's by a company called Telestream.
Okay, so here's the thing. Someone else is going to edit for me in iMovie.
Oh, in that case, if you aren't editing it, you don't need to worry about it.
Okay, so my question goes back to, I need to be able to run the video that we edit in iMovie, and from what I've learned, you can get a version of iMovie for MacBook Air, but it's not going to be the up-to-date one.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
You don't
So-
need iMovie to play video. So as long as you aren't editing, you can just send the raw video file from Zoom straight off to the person editing it, and they would just send you like an MP4 back or something.
Okay, so maybe I put that on a flash drive.
Yeah, you can put it on a flash drive, keep it on your hard drive on your desktop, and when you're playing that, you just you play it in whatever it comes up in. Like Raf said, probably comes up in QuickTime to play it.
All right. So I guess I should really mess with that first to see if I can get it to play on mine after she edits it on there.
It'll play fine. You've definitely got enough spec there to play videos. Your MacBook Air plays videos all right, doesn't it? Just plays them. Yeah. Is it got the exact same computer as you, Andrea?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is I got it in like 2013.
Yeah, it's the same.
No, it's good. You're still good. You can play video, no problem.
Yeah.
It's the editing the video that would be a challenge.
Yeah, I'm not going to edit it. I'm trying to outsource stuff that I can't, I need to maximize my time because during the day I only have from 8:30 till 2:30.
Yeah.
So I have to maximize my time. All right, I had some other questions written down.
Do you want to talk about briefly before we go into those ones about the video recording, Andrea? Because Rick, I know you did that at PMX, didn't you? Thinking of just a nice, quick way of getting the video set up. For me, it would just be quite simply a phone or an iPad with something there and a microphone plugged in. But there'll be more complex and more simple versions of that. So what did you do, Rick? I can't remember.
I used my. Well, I took my video camera with me, my little Vimeo.
Oh, that was a Mevo thing.
Yeah, Mevo thing. I did my Mevo, and then I did use my phone because Mevo, you take your phone and you just plug. I have a microphone, a lapel mic that goes into it. However, my video guy had a lot of trouble with that video, which I found really interesting because it seems really clear to me. But he had a hard time. He said the audio wasn't that great. And I sit and I watch the video and I think it sounds pretty good. So it is a tricky one. Most people, Grant has a video tutorial that we use for the speakers. And he literally, he shows them how to actually record their demo reel using an iPhone and the same kind of setup. iPhone with a lapel mic that actually goes right into your phone to record the audio piece of it. So, and then you just sync the two up. So
yeah,
it's pretty easy, quite honestly.
The alternative as well.
What you will need though is you'll need some kind of a stand or something to put your phone or iPad on. I actually have one. Let me see if I can get it out here so you can see it. So I have this stand that is adaptable to either iPad or iPhone. I don't have the iPhone adapter on. Not that you have to carry something like that all the way to France, but it will definitely help, especially if you're going to be trying to do most of this yourself.
Yeah.
You'll want something to hold the phone or the iPad and get into the room. Is this like a workshop room or is it like a keynote?
No, it's not a keynote. It's a workshop.
Okay, cool. So then you'll have plenty of time to get all set up. Yeah. So, and there'll be people there. You'll find somebody that you can say, hey, can you help me? There were a couple of people that helped me. That actually, when it was all said and done at Podcast Movement, I probably could have pulled it all off by myself.
Mm-hmm. The other alternative is maybe just find someone local and hire them as well. I know it might cost a few $100, but the assets that you'll get, and again, Rick, I'm sure you'll attest to the same thing. Like the assets that you'll get will serve you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rick, when you recorded yourself, did you just stay in one spot, or I want to be able to?
No. I was all over. I was all over the stage, and because of where I think my camera was positioned on the second row of the room, like dead center of the room. So I asked Jared before I did it. I'm like, hey, is this? And they said, yeah, it's cool to record. but I also, mine was like sticking way up, and because I put it in the center aisle, it was pretty much not blocking anybody being able to see. But yeah, if you go to my website, you can see just go to my website, go to the speaker page and watch the speaker reel. You'll see the podcast movement footage in there, and I'm walking all over the stage, and that camera was about 8 feet away from the stage. So, but again, I had my, Mevo, which is different than your phone, but you will be amazed at what you can do with your phone.
So are you saying Mevo, like M as in Mary? M-E-V?
Yeah,
Okay.
MEO, but it's not cheap. So it's
Do you know
like
what,
$600.
Andrea? Just thinking this through, in my view, I'd take an iPad and I would stick it up in the corner on a stand like Rick's got, and I would shoot the entire thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Keep it running, clear the iPad down, shoot the entire thing. But what I would then do is I'd get something like a Joby, like a GorillaPod, something that you can hold in your hand, like a selfie stick. And I would shoot my own video with a lapel mic plugged into like a Rode Smart Lav or something.
Yeah, that's what I have.
What I would do is, because it's a workshop, it's going to last a lot longer than a talk. So I would
75 minutes.
So I would footnote each part of that. So I'd come in and be like, hey, this is Andrea, just about to start the workshop. And every now and again, I would give a 5 or 10 second piece of commentary on it and introduce people, bring them in, say, this is Julie, whatever your name is. How's it going? Having fun? Or show me what you're working on. Try and capture some of those moments on a phone, like a selfie stick. Then I'd ask the editor to time lapse that video for the entire 75 minutes, time lapse the whole thing, but then bookmark it with these drops of boom, 1 minute in, here's me talking about this, and it's me on the selfie and me with this person. Because what you want really is like a 3.5 minute video, a promo video. So time lapse, make it look really vibrant, really bustling, but then just drop in these, hey, it's me, Andrea, ready to start this thing. Here's what we're going to cover, boom. And then at the end of it, like that was exhausting but amazing. Really enjoyed that, So you've kind of got this amazing time lapse video through.
So you're saying GorillaPod?
Yeah, so there's a company called Joby, which is J for Juliet, O-B-Y, Joby. And they do varying things. I'm sure Rick's probably got a GorillaPod or two knocking about. Raf's probably got 35 of them stashed somewhere. There'll be, everyone's got a GorillaPod style thing. And I don't. Do you not? That is amazing.
No, I've never heard of it. But
really, that has amazed me. That's brilliant. So everyone except Rick has got a GorillaPod. The cool thing about it is you can bend the legs, and you can kind of I could hook the stand around my arm, or you can put it on things, and
right.
I use it a lot for vlogging sort of stuff.
And I wish I would have bought one rather than this stand, because I had to haul this whole stand to Philadelphia, and I probably could have got by with one of those. Yeah,
you just stick it on the end of a table, can't you, or whatever, and do it like that. So I would.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Sorry, I would just say, think with the end in mind. Like if you're going to film this workshop, what you're not going to be able to do is get detail, because you're not a vlogger. You haven't got the time to do that. You've not got a film crew. So I'd think what's the best outcome you can get, and that probably is going through the process of a time lapse, and then you drop in some key points in there to show that you're facilitating. And again, Rick, based on experience, not sure what you think. But Andrea, sorry, go
on. So I really want to capture the piece of my why. And I think that's going to be the most important piece. But I don't, I think I'm just worried about walking all over the place and what I'm capturing. So.
Well, let me share my screen real quick, and I'll show you.
Yeah, I'll stop my share. And the GorillaPod, I guess I'll look into that. I have no idea why am I using that again?
That's just something
it's just to hold your camera.
To hold any device, yeah. I'll have a look on Amazon while Rick's doing that, just to find you some options.
They sell them at Target, Andrea. They're like $15, $20.
All right. Well, what about, is that going to be different from the tripod for the iPad?
It totally depends. You can set it up in so many different ways. You could use it.
Can you guys see this? Can you see the YouTube channel?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this was shot kind of like what you're saying. It's shot off to the side. I mean, this is my whole talk.
Yeah, but that's a stage. This is probably going to be at a conference.
No, this was just a room. I mean,
That looks really good.
Yeah,
and it was just a fish lens, or what did you have?
No, that's my Mevo. That's my Mevo.
Oh, okay.
But I could have gotten the same thing with my iPhone or my iPad.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid if it's, I mean, yes, it's not ideal if it's like sitting off to the side, but I had no choice because there was no center aisle. And
Still looks good.
Yeah, but when we flip over here to the podcast movement one, it comes up. So again, my camera was just 8 feet away. Now there's a few times I walk off the camera, but for the most part, I'm all over the stage.
And that mic is remote into your camera?
Yeah, you can't see it, but the mic is actually, I mean, this is that mic, but I have a lapel mic on right up there.
Oh, that's the lapel mic. Okay.
Yeah. And so
is it a wireless lapel? Is that what that is?
No, it's actually snaked to the phone.
So you did like the old school cut, and then you put the lips to the motion.
Actually, Mevo does all of that for you. Because what's happening is through Mevo, it's you're using your phone to like turn everything on. So it's already syncing as you're doing it. You don't have to do any matchup. But again, Mevo is great, but it's an investment. I mean, it's a $600 investment for that camera.
You can also get these little things as well, Andrea. It's just a little tiny tripod that folds down to folds down to that size, but like you can really, like, this thing will expand out. So you could take one of these. I always carry one of these in my hand luggage.
I have one of those too.
That will literally expand to, like, what's that, 3 foot?
Yeah.
So if
I got one for like $40 or something like that.
Yeah, they cost nothing. I actually use these for lighting as well. You can fit a little mini softbox on them that you can use it as an external light as well.
And all these things have if you show the top of it, Mark, so Andrea can see, it's basically you screw it in. You see that little, it's like a little screw, and those are what the different adapters. So they sell like little adapters for the iPhone. They sell big ones for the iPads. Various cameras already have those little threads in them.
They're all the same thread as well, Andrew, so you can mix and match. So what I'd suggest is then, just to kind of summarize that, because there's a shed load of info, you need something to record your piece. So that would be something like Rick suggested, which is you on a lapel mic, a Rode. If you've got an iPhone or a Samsung you want to do anything with, use a
I have an iPhone.
Oh.
Here's what the guy, can I show you this? This is what the guy at the store suggested at Best Buy.
Yeah, that'll be pretty solid.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's what I have.
That's not a lapel one. So
that's not. It sits at the top, and I think that's a shotgun mic, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, which will be fine. I've got a Rode. That'll be fine, but it will capture a little bit of external noise as well.
Okay, so lapel mic, where do you get those?
Amazon or Best Buy. Yeah, you can get a Rode Smart Lav Plus.
Rode Smart Lav Plus?
Yeah, get the plus one as well.
Like $70-some. Yeah.
And the only place, if you want it local, Andrea, here in this area it's Guitar Center. Best Buy doesn't carry it, but if you wanted like have it in hand, Guitar Center in Alexandria has it. And I don't know if you have a Guitar Center in Annapolis, but they carry it in stock.
It's not the desert, Raf. Of course they have.
No, I had a devil of a time trying to like see it in my hand. Guitar Center.
All right.
It was the weirdest thing.
Here's the other thing the Best Buy guy said. Joby Grip Tight Mount Pro.
Yep, that'll be a similar thing. So what that does is that's the bit that grabs. You screw the iPad onto. Similar kind of thing. And then you might just need a stand for that. I don't know what that comes with in terms of like her height.
I think that's it. Oh, okay.
Let's have a look. What's it called? Joby Grip.
Joby Grip Tight Mount Pro.
Joby Grip Tight Pro. And of course, Amazon comes up. They have got the world.
Andrea, and the Joby is the brand, and like we were seeing the Gorilla Grip, they're just competing brands. Same stuff.
Oh, there it is.
Okay,
that goes on top, Andrea, of a tripod. So that would screw into the little screw. It's only the top bit. That's only the top, the adjustable grip part.
So what do you think?
So you just then need like a tripod or a stand or something to put it on.
The actual
All right.
gorilla, the actual legs.
All right. Raph,
And
we
the-
might have to have a weekend homework assignment.
No problem. And if I go, I'm heading to the base exchange today, so I can take snapshots of stuff that's available right here at Andrews. And if you just need me to grab it for you, I will. Put it in the mail
Thanks.
for you, no problem. Yeah. The Gorilla grips are the what makes them is that they're movable. So like Mark has the tripod, which is metal, and that's pretty static. And the deal with the Gorilla grips is that the legs literally move like articulating fingers, and you can like grip it around a steering wheel. You can like mount it on a. Yeah, it's just.
So-
but I'll take pictures of that stuff. You can see.
So what do you guys think? You know what I'm going to do. What do you think best, Gorilla Grips or this other tripod stand thing, or both?
I think I would personally, I'd do something where you can record yourself. It's a funny one, this. I think personally I'd use the smartphone with some kind of stabilizer, and I would use that shotgun mic and ask someone to film it. That I think would be the path of least resistance. The other way to do it is do what Rick said, which is get a lav mic and sync it, but I think that might be too much work for you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unless, as you said, Rick said, rightly so, unless you got the Mevo. I would do that. I would get the shotgun and then some way of getting someone to hold it, like a little gimbal or just a stand. But you need someone with pretty steady hands.
And Andrea, but you have an H6, right? If memory serves me correctly, you have a Zoom H6.
Yeah, but it doesn't do video, does it? It's
No,
only audio.
But do you have a shoot and
little
zoom
tripod.
camera? Do you have a little camera like that?
I have like a Cool Pix.
Yeah.
A Nikon Cool. I don't know that it does video though.
But
Yeah.
but incorporate that Nikon with your smartphone and take your H6, and you got a whole double angle component there. Wouldn't you agree, Mark? Like the H6 and the Cool Pix would be static, just sitting there, kind of like what Rick said, off to the side.
Could do that.
And then with your iPhone, you just get the Gorilla Grip, and you're doing sort of like, hey. So you just get a couple SD cards that the Cool Pix is going to be, just pop it in there, hit record, and walk away. It catches sort of that large audience, large room. And then with the iPhone, you're kind of doing the, hey, this is Andrea and this is Jane. Yeah. What are we working on type deal. And then you get your video editor, you send them all this, and then they put together a movie with some offshoots and some close-ups.
That's it.
You know what? I know. I don't know why I just feel completely overloaded when I ask these questions, because I know you guys know all this, but this is like a foreign language to me. So.
Oh, okay.
I think the simplest thing.
Tech can be very overwhelming.
Yeah, just the simplest thing would be, first of all, okay, how much time do you have between now and then?
I mean, I have to make the time, so it's.
No, I mean, how much?
I leave March. I leave March 15th.
Okay, fine. So here's what I would do. I would literally get a stand of some sort right now that you can adapt onto your iPhone or an iPad, and figure out a way to get a microphone. Start right there. You got plenty of time to like get that and start practicing doing this.
And would my mics from my Zoom work?
Not with the iPhone.
No, not with the iPhone.
Well, you've got the EV, haven't you?
I could get it.
I don't think there's an adapter to adapt that over to an iPhone.
No,
okay.
You could do like an ATR into it, but I think it's too complex. I would go with the Rode shotgun.
I would get the Rode shotgun or the Rode one, the lapel one. Just get it and start playing with it. See how you feel like it feels, because the simplest is going to be the phone with the lapel mic and something to hold that phone.
But not an iPad?
Or an iPad.
Yeah, either of those two. Right. The phone's easy to transport, and you've got the thing, All
right, so...
well, wait, we got to think about this, guys, because...
Thank you so much.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, the lapel mic will work, but she's going to have two ways because one's going to have to go to record the audio, and then so she's going to have to shoot with the iPad, have the iPad doing the actual video, and then have the lapel mic to the phone, and then sync it. The syncing your video guy can do. Whoever you're going to hand this off to, they can sync it, and it's not as hard to sync as you think.
Okay. And how do I test that it's definitely working?
Just test it on the day.
Yeah.
Well, no,
You're doing it at home first, Andrew. You're doing it. You go through a few dry runs. Yeah.
But you've got to test it on the day, like a lot is what.
Exactly. Yes.
I would personally.
With it at home.
I think you've got to do something where it's just simple. I do honestly think that road. I don't think the lapel mic's going to give you the flexibility unless it's in your pocket. But I think you're probably going to be worried about it. So I'd get the smart lav, get the shotgun mic, test them both. If you are comfortable recording 2 times, one on the iPad to get the video, like Rick said, and then one on the iPhone to get the sound. If you're happy doing that and you feel like on the day you're not going to be too overwhelmed with all this other stuff that you've got to do as well as remembering that and to press that, then go for that one. If you can't, use the shotgun into the iPad from a distance, because that will be good quality. It'll just be a little bit more echoey.
Right.
And then at that point, just make the decision and send one back,
And the shotgun mic, was that?
That's the one for the Best Buy guy.
That's cool. The one you have the picture of. And the only difference, Andrew, is going to be if you use the shotgun, like Mark said, you're going to pick up some echo in the room because it's not on you. It's picking up whatever we're talking.
Yeah.
Or if you have the lapel mic, you're going to have the lapel on you with the cord under your blouse, down into your phone in your pocket. So you're just going to have to remember to turn that on before you get up on stage. The video is already going to be going. Now, the thing you're not going to be able to do with that, which you could if you're standing, maybe you could do this, is turn the iPad on, and while people are coming in, when just about you're about to go take over and start your workshop, you stand on the side and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All that is marking your voice. Okay. And then you just walk on up, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they'll give you that mark for starting to sync everything. And it's going to capture you on camera because you're going to be able to see it. If you look at the camera and you're standing off to the side and you're looking right at the camera and you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then when the two things come together, your video person's going to be able to sync it. Because they're going to see you visually saying it and they're going to hear it, and then they can bring those two pieces together. It's just like editing a podcast, quite honestly.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get this video directional microphone for Apple, but what does that click onto?
The what? Sorry.
Well, if you're going to do the shotgun, it's going to click onto the iPad.
Into the iPad.
The bottom. It's got a lightning cable.
Yeah, it'll have
a
little adapter and just plug it in.
Okay, so that'll go onto the iPad, and then the iPad will go on the tripod.
Yeah, and you just hit record and go.
Okay.
So now there's a few things that you have to keep in mind, and so this is what the point that Mark was kind of saying is you have a lot of things going on. You're going to be real nervous about going and speaking, making sure you got all your T's crossed, your I's dotted. The key in all this is that you charge your phones, right? Because you don't want to run out of juice. And that you have to hit record, right? Because I've done a couple of these, and this is why we're saying is you have plenty of time until March. So have February your dress rehearsal, where you're just being goofy in front of the camera, in front of your kids, in private, and wherever you want to be. But I've done a few of these try to do recordings, and I'll go through the whole thing, and I'll be like, yes, that came out perfect. But because my mind got so caught up, I never hit record.
Okay.
So that's you have to get in that habit. It's that muscle memory, and that's what we're trying to. As you practice, you get the muscle memory, and you'll develop sort of like your little in-head checklist. All right, batteries charged, hit record, go, and then you move on to the next step.
All right, so I'm gonna get the Best Buy mic. I'm gonna, you know what, Mark, also for the iPad to store like podcast files. Is that a good place to store them?
It's all right for now, yeah, because we might be recording things using something like Boss Jock or something similar. So yeah, that'd be fine.
All right, and
I think we'll actually get you using something like Ali2. That's what I'm thinking for you. Is integrate with use something like Ali2 that Colin produces. Because we integrate that, so you can publish straight from Ali2 straight to Captivate and then to your website.
All right, and what memory do you think?
So the storage, in terms of the storage on the iPad, I'd always get as big as you can afford without it going crazy.
Yeah.
So if the price jump is nuts, don't get the nuts one. But I always try and level out on the maximum storage I can get. I think the one I've got is 256, but you can now get like terabyte ones, which is stupid.
And Andrea, right now you're kind of in a very unique power buying position where they've released the latest iPad, so the older iPads are still on the market. And I would suggest, this is just Raf, to go with the iPad Pro.
Yeah.
Hey, can you get those at Andrews?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And it's tax free. So I'll do a little shopping recon, and then I'll take snapshots, and then so we can help you out that way.
All right, and maybe I'll come down there and we do a little trial run.
That's not a bad idea, because you can get that set up. You can. I would go into a garage or something and try and simulate the workshop as much as you can, and get that set up like Raf's Tech Central, and he's not working, so why not?
No, he's got lots of kids and a new baby. But I would really appreciate that, Raf. Like, what's hard for me is when I have these great discussions and then trying to articulate it to someone else, and I don't capture it as well. But having other people here, like you guys heard the discussion.
Well, I'm a tech guy, Andrea, and when I first started identifying this world of tech, it was very complicated, and I couldn't. But now, I guess I've evolved, the evolution of Raf, right? Now it's like, oh, I get this stuff. Where a year ago, I was like, where does this connect? What is this?
Yeah.
And I'm a tech individual, and I love tech, but
I just like to be able to do it. I don't like the tech piece, but I know I got to embrace it. So thank you so much. All right. That would be great.
And as you practice more, the more comfortable. So like, I'll just share with you where before I used to just not even like doing a video like we're doing now. And when I recorded the shaving of my beard on that October day, I had 1, 2, 3. I had either 3 or 4 cameras set at different angles going. And it was, I think, two smartphones and a digital SLR and an iPad. So I had 4.
Wow.
And so they recorded the same thing, but like Rick said, before I hit everything on record, and then I took like a 10-second 1, 2, 3, 4, and I clapped, and then I did my thing. And it's really crazy because the same event got captured on 4 different angles, and it's the same thing, but it's really neat that it's 4 different angles because it gives 4 different visions. I don't know, it's very interesting. Anyways, I've been playing around with that video.
The editor can definitely cut stuff in like that as well. I'm always a fan of getting as much as you can. As much different things as you can. So we're going to wrap up in a few minutes. But Andrea, is there anything else pressing that you want to get over? Anything that you think is a stopper? I know we spent a lot of time on the tech there, which is not a bad thing, really.
No, it's not bad. Now I'm going back to the layers of the workshop and trying to build them out. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
So focus on that. Have the comfort knowing that I'm not too far away from you. We're local, and then through this knowledge here, we can help you out. I can help you out, and then if we run into snags, we got the other team here to help us out.
Thanks, Raf. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And if you want, do a test run and send the footage over on Slack into the discussion group, and let's see what that comes out like. You don't have to edit it; just make it the raw footage that comes in.
Okay.
And we'll just see, because what we can then drop it into things like ScreenFlow and just quickly take out the background hiss and just do a little bit on it to so you can see what an editor will be able to do. So yeah, do some test footage. Like I said, get set up with the iPad, get set up with the phone, do some shooting this week or this weekend, and then shoot it over to us. And Rick and I will definitely be able to chip in with that.
All right.
Hey, Mark, real quick. ScreenFlow, is that basically a Mac desktop or a computer thing or an iPad thing?
It's only Mac, and what it allows you to do is you can record anything that you've got set up. So I can record any cameras that I've got connected, any microphones. I can, even if I connect my phone or my iPad, I can record the screen there. I can add click effects, like if I'm doing tutorials, I can record myself.
Oh, okay.
It's how I do all my video and stuff.
So that's not an alternative to like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut.
It's getting into Final Cut realm. It's more like something like Final Cut, but for people that just want to do like entrepreneurial style, businessy style stuff that's quick.
Okay. Good, because that's what I was looking for, because I thought I needed to go with Final Cut, or I think it's called Adobe Premiere or Lightroom or whatever they call that one. And it just looks so overwhelming with so many buttons. I'm like, my gosh, I don't want to be a Hollywood movie producer. I just want to edit a video.
That's all you need, man. And it'll do sound. It'll do background sound removal, and you can do
ScreenFlow. Awesome.
ScreenFlow 7. Awesome. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Okay. And you're not a fan of Podcaster?
Podcast is all right, but yeah, I don't think you need it. I think there's better things on the market. I think, honestly, now, Andrew, I think we get you on Ali 2, which is Colin's tool, and then.
Do you think it's easier to use than iMovie?
What, ScreenFlow?
Yeah. I hate iMovie.
Yeah, massively. ScreenFlow's like, you edit your own stuff, don't you? Your podcast. So it's like, there's your block of file. Trim the ends off. Like, click on the file, manipulate it. Take the sound down, take the sound up. But it does things like auto ducking as well. So, if you've got like intro music coming, you drop an intro music in. As long as you've got a video file or an audio file above that in the stacking order, if you click the ducking button, as soon as you come in talking, the music will drop to duck underneath you and then come back when you stop talking. So, and that's like one click.
Wow.
And it also does like.
iMovie just drives me nuts.
I never bother with that, man. It's too hard and too cumbersome. But ScreenFlow is fantastic.
Okay, so. Yeah, see, it's an admin at school who does these little newscasts for the kids. Mm-hmm. And she was offering to do it. So, but I got to capture video next week of them.
Yeah.
Based on the experience they're doing here. So I think I may be able to get permission to use their Podcaster set for that.
Okay.
For her purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'll go from there.
Yeah,
I'll start gathering the other stuff.
I don't even know what is Podcaster. I don't even know what that is. Is that hardware?
It's a whole set. It's a tripod. It's everything we're talking about, but it's in one set, and it's got a green screen, and it's got a light for video. And you just hook your iPad. It's all one cool. set, and it comes in its own little carry bag, and everything folds down small.
Oh wow!
It is very cool. It's perfect for doing like doing the home videos or the newscast, like you do, Rick, when you've got your lights set up. It's like emulating that kind of setup, really.
Yeah,
and it's got a teleprompter. It's got a teleprompter built in, and
that is cool.
And lights, and then you can add different accessories to it. There's like a starter kit, and then other stuff you can add to it.
It is pretty
you can
good.
see if they have that too. I sent you some pics, Raph.
All right.
For your recon.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll get you. Yeah.
I got you.
Thank you. Sports podcaster this time next week. I can almost guarantee it.
Oh, good. Then I'll borrow it.
Now we're talking.
What did Mark say? He ordered it?
No, I said you'll have bought it.
No, he said you'll probably have it.
This time next week, you'll have bought it.
Oh, me? Raph? Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably leave it.
Y'all know me too well. I'm like, ooh.
I'm surprised Raph hasn't started a side hustle buying the shit on base and then going and selling it.
Yes.
Well. So I tell you what, I will offer this to you guys. The base, I'm not sure what it is, but they have a relationship with Audio Technica, and I get 8 TR-2100s for $49 flat.
Wow.
No tax.
That's good.
So I was thinking of buying them all the time, and then kind of like be like, hey, Raph's resale, $55. You get a good deal. I get a good deal. I got to fund serve somehow.
That is a good idea. You have to sell like 6,000 of them, but still.
And how did I become ATR's largest distributor? Well, it started back with the podcast.
Cheap
Yeah,
stuff.
it doesn't last long with Amazon. As soon as they find out you're selling well.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Well, it's funny because when we were on the cruise, and I can't think of which rum this is, but it's something that you can only get in the Caribbean. You can't get it here in the States. You can only get it when you're down in that area. And so we went to a couple, because a friend of George's wanted some. So we went to a couple of stores that we couldn't even find it there. So we get on the cruise ship and they actually have it. And so we're buying the bottle for his friend, and the gal working in the cruise ship says, we actually have people who come on the cruise. They buy like 20 some odd cases of this stuff. They go ahead and pay the duty, and then they go and sell it, and they pay for their cruise. And this is what they do for business.
Yeah.
They do every month. They're on the cruise ship. They buy and they go and they sell it in the States. So yeah.
Is it Flor de Caña by chance?
No, I'm trying to think what it was. It's some, I mean, I'm looking at right now, but I can't remember what it was.
So I'll tell you that I can say that I've done that a little bit. We were going with Secretary of State, when Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice was the Secretary of State. We were going down Latin America a lot, and I found this rum called Flor de Caña. And I tell you what, it is like the best rum ever. So the first trip, I bought a case. I think we were going there about once a month or 3 times a month for about 4 or 5 months. About my third trip down there, I was the guy in the belly. So I was the one loading all the bags. So I said, hell, if I'm the one loading the bags, I know how much room is in the belly of the aircraft. And my biggest run was like 22 cases of this stuff. And people were like, dude, what are you doing? Are we going to have to call the ATF on you? I'm like, this is all personal consumption. And they're like, well, we're really now concerned that you're this drunk. I'm like, well, no. And I just finished my last bottle. So I haven't flown a mission because I retired 4 years ago. And then before that was 15 years. So it's like 14 years since I've flown one of those missions. And I just finished the last bottle not too long ago.
Wow.
So I'm basically 14 years worth of rum. And now my rum level is this high, so I can't go back to like Bacardi or Captain Morgan's, because that tastes like gasoline. It tastes like kerosene.
That's definitely a raft story if I've ever.
It's a raft story. As I was thinking it, Rick said it. I said yes. Someone else did it on a cruise.
Years worth. Good Lord. Right, we're going to stick a pin in it. I'm going to go get snowed on. So let us know. Let us know what you need, Andrea. You know, if you and Raf test it out locally, that's great. Stick the footage in. Let us know what gear you get. Just let us know. We can always give some feedback.
All right, that sounds great.
Good.
Thanks. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye.
Well done, guys.
Talk to you later.
Break on through.
Break on 3. Bye.